Welcome to our podcast. Today, we're diving into the ancient wisdom of Sun Tzu's The Art of War. It's incredible how a work from over 2,000 years ago can still teach us so much today.
Absolutely. It's fascinating. So, who exactly was Sun Tzu? There's some debate about his existence, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. Sun Tzu is traditionally regarded as a military strategist from the spring and autumn period of China. But there's been a lot of discussion among historians about whether he was a real historical figure or more of a legendary one.
Oh, so some people think he might not have existed at all?
Exactly. Some scholars suggest that the art of war was actually a compilation of strategies from various military thinkers of the time. But regardless, the work itself has had an enormous impact on both Eastern and Western military thinking.
Right. And the principles in it are applied beyond warfare nowadays, like in business and even sports.
Yes. It's really about strategy and understanding both yourself and your opponent. One of the key ideas is that the best victory is one that's achieved without fighting at all.
That's so profound. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah.
How can you win without fighting?
Well, Sun Tzu emphasizes the importance of planning and strategy. He talks about 5 constant factors to consider: the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, and method and discipline.
Wait, could you break those down a bit? What's the moral law?
Sure. The moral law refers to what binds the people to their ruler, creating harmony between them. It's about ethics and righteousness, which inspire people to follow their leader willingly.
So like having the trust and loyalty of your troops?
Exactly. If your people are aligned with your purpose, they'll stand by you through anything.
Right.
Then there's heaven, which relates to factors like the weather, seasons, and time. Basically, environmental conditions.
Got it. And earth refers to the terrain, right?
Yes, the geographical factors, the distances, the dangers, the opportunities in the land itself. Then we have the commander, who must possess virtues like wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness.
That's interesting. Courage and strictness. How do those play into leadership according to Sun Tzu?
Well, courage is needed to take decisive action, and strictness ensures discipline within the army. Without discipline, you can't execute your strategies effectively.
Makes sense. And the last factor is method and discipline?
Exactly. This covers the organization, control, assignment of proper ranks, logistics, and the management of expenditures. It's the practical side of commanding an army.
So Sun Tzu believed that by considering all these factors, a general could forecast victory or defeat?
Yes, precisely. He suggests that by making thorough calculations and assessments, you can increase your chances of victory. He famously says, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles."
That's such a powerful statement, but do you think it's still applicable today in modern contexts?
Absolutely. Whether in business, sports, or personal challenges, understanding yourself and your competition allows you to strategize effectively. It's about awareness and preparation.
Right, but sometimes it's hard to truly know your opponent, especially if they're unpredictable.
True, but Sun Tzu also discusses the importance of deception in war. He says all warfare is based on deception. So, you must be adaptable and ready to respond to unexpected moves.
So it's like a game of chess, constantly anticipating and adapting?
Exactly. And he emphasizes the need to be flexible in your tactics. For example, he mentions that the general who wins makes many calculations before the battle is fought.
Planning is everything then?
Yes.
But what about instincts and spontaneity?
Well, instincts play a role, but Sun Tzu would argue that thorough preparation allows you to act swiftly and effectively when the time comes.
Right.
It's about having a solid foundation so you can adapt on the fly.
That makes sense. So how would you apply this to, say, a business strategy?
Great question. In business, knowing your company's strengths and weaknesses as well as your competitors allows you to position yourself effectively in the market.
And perhaps avoid direct competition when it's not advantageous?
Exactly. Sun Tzu advises against attacking strong points directly. Instead, you should find the weak points and focus your efforts there.
So it's about working smarter, not harder?
Yes, that's a good way to put it. He also highlights the importance of unity and morale among your people. Without that, even the best strategy can fail.
Right. Speaking of morale, he mentions the moral law binding people to their leader. How do you think modern leaders can achieve that?
Well, by demonstrating integrity, caring for their people, and leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
When people feel valued and believe in the leader's vision, they're more committed.
But isn't that kind of idealistic? I mean, in the modern world, leaders often struggle to maintain that kind of connection.
That's a fair point. It's challenging, but not impossible. Sun Tzu sets a high standard, but his principles serve as a guide. Achieving that level of cohesion can be a significant advantage.
I see what you mean. So even though the context has changed, the core ideas are still relevant.
Exactly. The underlying principles of strategy, leadership, and understanding are timeless.
Yeah,
It's about applying them appropriately to the situation at hand.
it's fascinating how a treatise on ancient warfare can still teach us about modern life.
It really is. And there's so much more depth to the art of war. We've only scratched the surface today.
Definitely. Maybe we can delve into more chapters in future episodes.
I'd love that. There's so much to explore, from tactical dispositions to the use of spies. It's a treasure trove of wisdom.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. This has been a great discussion. Learned a lot.
Same here. It's always enriching to revisit these classic works. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Can't wait for our next talk.